Hello, hello, and good evening. It is May 2nd, and this is the Fertility Family Live with a founder and your hostess today, Kania Kennedy. I am super excited to be here. I always love having an opportunity to share with the family all the good stuff that there is for us to know about having these happy, healthy babies. Um, I'll tell you a little bit about the fertility family. And then today's topic is Countdown to Baby Fabulous Part 2. We're going through our pregnancy checklist and our timeline. And we're looking at it now through the pregnancy process. So in part 1, we went from, all the way from preconception, about a year out, through conception. Or when you're ready to start trying. And now we're going to go through the pregnancy portion. But I'll talk a little bit about the fertility family first, and then we'll get into that. It's going to be awesome. Thank you for being here and watching. And I look forward to sharing this with you. All right, so let's get into our presentation. All right, yeah. So this again is the Fertility Family Live. Just a little bit about the Fertility Family, in case you didn't know. The Fertility Family mission is to offer natural and affordable solutions for fertility challenges. We want everyone to have a happy and healthy pregnancy and baby. And so that can look like someone who might be like me, a mature first-time mommy, or just a mature mommy in general. And you may have some concerns about, what does it look like to have a happy, healthy pregnancy in my late 30s, early 40s, or maybe even beyond. And we look at that and those unique concerns around that type of pregnancy here in the fertility family. Our goal is to provide people with a holistic approach. I am a holistic health and wellness practitioner. And so, of course, I'm a big fan of natural solutions. And more than just being natural, things that are affordable. There are many, many, many people who find themselves financially drained dealing with fertility challenges. And one of our goals is to provide alternative solutions so that having the baby becomes a happy and easy breezy process and not something that drains your bank, because of course babies require finances, and so you don't want to spend all your money trying to have the baby. Right? And then we do preconception planning, which is kind of like what we're doing here with the Countdown to Baby Fabulous series, because we want people to really have an idea of what to expect and how they can best go about preparing their bodies, their minds, their lives, everything to have a happy, healthy pregnancy and baby. And then one of the best parts about the fertility family is your opportunity to get live questions and answers and support around having a happy, healthy pregnancy. And so once a week on Wednesdays at 7, we have a different health and wellness or pregnancy women's health practitioner here. You can ask questions. And then inside of our group, which is a private group for people who have become members of the family, you can ask your questions there and they will answer them. A lot of times it relates to holistic approaches to fertility. People don't always know where to go, or holistic health in general. There's a plethora of people out there. And so our goal, and for me, as I prepare for my own journey, I was just pulling together my team. And then the spirit just moved me to say, you know what? Share this. Share this with the world, because there are other women in the same situation, which leads us to our last point, which is we provide support for people who might be doing solo motherhood by choice. And you know what? If you're doing solo fatherhood, there's a lot of things we're going to talk about inside of the fertility family that will support you and begin to support your surrogate or whoever is carrying your baby for you. So that is the fertility family. Just provide a loving space for anyone who is on this journey to having a happy, healthy baby, whether you're already pregnant or you're planning to be. So it's an awesome group. I'm really proud of it. I'm happy that I'm doing it. It can be a little, I don't want to say scary. It's not that it's scary. It just can be a little overwhelming, for me at least. Given that this is my first time doing this and I'm single. And so if I can provide any support for anyone else such that they're feeling comfortable and like they feel like, man, you know what, I've got a family, I've got someone to support me, because that's what I want. And so that's what I'm creating for myself. I'm a big fan of if you need it, go create it. Don't wait on someone to bring it to you. Right now, inside of this journey, you've got to have resources. And so, one of the things that we have as a resource inside the fertility family is our text. It is written by one of our team members, the fabulous, fabulous Dr. Jaleesa Hernandez. And the book is called The Naturopathic Approach to Fertility. And honestly, it gives you pretty much everything you would need in order to carry and conceive naturally. It's a comprehensive book. And so you could read it by itself and you would get everything you need. But sometimes you have questions, and it's nice to just know that there's people to answer them. But if you are like, I don't know fertility families, and for me, I don't want to be in a group, I encourage everyone to get a copy of the book. And having a copy of the book is one of the, things that it takes to become a member of the family, because you got to know what we're talking about, right? As I told you, I'm a holistic health and wellness provider. And one of the things that I love to share with people is my holistic feminine health starter kit. If you are like me and you are planning on having a baby, you definitely want your honey pot to be nice and happy and healthy. And so this is some of the things I talked about in the part one of this, which is the preconception planning. But inside this kit, what I love about it is you'll see like all of these herbs, okay, where's my pointer? Here it is. These are natural herbs that are really great for feminine reproductive health. And we actually do have a wonderful selection of herbs that are great for masculine and male reproductive health. And I went over that a little bit again in our preconception starter kit. And we'll eventually do a whole class just about men's health. But how you get these herbs? One, these are sanitary napkins, but what makes them better is that they're non-toxic. They include some of these herbs, the lavender, the petunia, the rose, the mint, so all these great herbs included in these pads, which means you're going to be absorbing them into your reproductive system, into your body, which is just wonderful and nourishing. The Female Comfort Herbal Blend, this is a blend of herbs that are specifically designed to support the female reproductive system. A lot of the issues that women are having inside of health and wellness, a lot of it is simply because we are malnourished, or we don't understand that our bodies have some different needs. And a lot of times we get into the prenatal vitamins and things once we're trying to conceive or we find out we're pregnant. But there are other things that your body needs in general. And in our current, at least over here in America where I am, we're not typically taught about the special needs of the female body. And so female comfort is designed for that. What I have found with most women who start on female comfort and stick with it for at least 60 days, they find that their cycles become less painful, less intrusive. The PMS symptoms tend to get mitigated. So all the things that we associate with our monthly cycle, they begin to mitigate when you combine the pads and the supplements. And then we go through the entire feminine health program, which includes some lifestyle changes, and we talk about what to eat and different things like that. Yeah, it's really powerful. Okay. And then also included in that kit is the Changes, a Woman's Health Essential Oil Blend. So these are essential oils, some of the ones that were on the slide, like clary sage, and ylang ylang, and rose, different herbs, essential oils that really make a great impact on women's health. This is a really great tool to use, particularly if someone's dealing with PMS and some hormonal changes, because essential oils act really quickly on health and wellness. I talk a little bit more about that in my Medicine Woman programming. So if you're interested in finding out more about how essential oils can benefit your health, your emotional health in particular, then I want you to reach out to me or find me at adivamedicinewoman.com, and I'll be more than happy to share with you. And then the last thing that was in there is the prenatal vitamins. And a lot of people think, well, if I'm not pregnant, why do I need them? Again, we have different dietary needs. So prenatal vitamins are a good idea for any woman who is having a monthly cycle. Whether or not she's pregnant or trying to get pregnant, we recommend a prenatal vitamin. If you don't want to take a prenatal, you can also put those hair, skin, and nail vitamins. But look at the ingredients, they tend to be very similar. But we also have a hair, skin, and nail formula. But again, there's just different needs that you have as a woman. And it's important that you nourish that. All right. So with that part complete, let me tell you a little bit about who I am and what on earth, why I'm here and what I'm going to talk about. So again, my name is Kania Kennedy. I am a life coach, certified professional coach, been doing it for 10 years now. I am a certified goddess steam practitioner. So I do vaginal steams for women's health and well-being. And I'm an ordained minister. And what I know is that when we're given the proper nutrients, the proper environment, and the proper mindset for success, divine healing is inevitable. And so if anyone is, has been told you are infertile, unless you literally no longer have your womb, so if you had your uterus and your reproductive systems, if you had a hysterectomy, I would have to concede on that point. But if you still have the equipment, I truly understand that we are divinely engineered and that healing really comes from the divine. And the things that we do when I say nutrients and mindset for support and environment is that we have to create the environment to receive our healing. And it's as much as mental as it's going to be physical. And so when we talk about this holistic approach and the things we talk about here when we do fertility challenges, you'll notice it's a 360 approach. We're not just saying take some herbs. There's not just treatments that you do. You want to treat the whole body, mind, body, spirit, because all of that makes a difference. But God is good. And if I believe and I know that we are divinely designed and it's like a self-healing machine. But just because you have a self-cleaning oven, your self-cleaning oven only works when you put it in the right settings, right? You've got to put the oven cleaner in there, even if it's a non-toxic natural version, which I will show you how to make. But if you don't have it in self-cleaning mode, it can't do that. So what we have to do and learn to do with our bodies is get ourselves into self-healing mode. And that's a lot of what I do as a medicine woman and as a coach and even as a minister is I'm just helping you get into that mindset and get into the environment. Okay. As it relates to the fertility family, I'm on my own personal journey. So the reason the family was founded was because I realized there's a lot I didn't know about pregnancy. And as I'm 42. And so I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do this baby thing. What do I need to know? And I'm a student and I'm a scholar. And so I began to study. And like I said, in my prayer, my meditation work, Spirit was like, you need to share this. And so Fertility Family was started. And so I'm on the countdown to conception myself. Whew, a little nervous, but that's part of the reason I made the checklist. I'm like, I like to know what is there to do. And so, yeah, this checklist that we're going through was created out of that. It was simply like, all right, well, if you don't know, the information is out there. And I found some great resources. And so a copy of this checklist is available for download. So if you go to fertilityfam.com, you can download a copy of it. It's my gift to you. It's my gift to you. Yeah, I mean, so today it says countdown to baby fabulous, but this is part 2. All right, so we are having a baby, y'all. All right, so this time we're gonna be talking about pregnancy. All right, and we're gonna go through weeks 1 through 8, then weeks 8 to 12, 12 to 16, 16 to 20, 20 to 24, 24 to 28, 28 to 32, 32 to 36, and then 36 to delivery. All righty. Let's jump on into this. Weeks 1 through 8, what is it to do? You got to take your pregnancy test. So we talked about last week in the last session or in part 1 of this series that, in order to get pregnant, you got to either get busy or you have to go and get inseminated. And so in my case, I would go and have my AI, artificial insemination procedure. Or if you are lucky enough to have a honey, then you're going to go get busy and have a good time. Or if, whatever that looks like. So once you've done that, you're going to take that pregnancy test, okay? Now, depending on what your test says, you want to tell your partner and your village. And, if you're like someone like me and, you have a team, a village of people who are supporting you through this process, you want to keep them informed. Part of what it takes to really have this be a happy, healthy pregnancy and baby, you're going to need support. You're going to need a village. And so you want to get them involved from the beginning. Now, I personally am like planning on having, I was thinking about having either a party and I'm trying to decide is a party around the insemination or is it around the reveal? I don't know. That process of taking the pregnancy test, I'm in several pregnancy support groups. It can be a little bit stressful. So it may be something that I will share intimately, you know, when I'm heading to do it. But then that celebration, particularly once we find ourselves pregnant, once I find myself pregnant, I definitely know there definitely will be a party around it. I'm me. But if you're pregnant, you want to celebrate. And if you're not ending up pregnant, that's okay. You're just going to consult with your team, and you will keep working with it. And that's one of the reasons why we have the fertility family, because you don't want to be alone in this. You don't want to be taking this on by yourself. It can be very stressful. And one of the best things about the fertility family um, is the support, is having that support. Okay. So as you're in this weeks 1 through 8, now this is assuming again that you are now pregnant and it's confirmed. All right. You want to, of course, find a good OBGYN if you don't have one already, because every gynecologist doesn't do obstetrics. And so you want to find someone that you're working with, and or you want to find your midwife. I am planning on having both. I do want to do my delivery with a midwife. I would love to have it at home birth or being like a really woo kind of birthing center. But I definitely also want to have an OBGYN that I have a relationship with in case there are some complications. The last thing you want is if something does happen, you have to go to the hospital, that someone who you don't know, who you don't have a relationship with, is servicing you. So having a good OBGYN on your team, regardless of whether you're going to do at home birth or not, is a good idea. So you want to start shopping around. Okay. The next thing we want to talk about is you want to schedule your pre. Did I not edit this slide, you guys? Oh my goodness. It's not a prenatal checkup. You want to you want to schedule your pregnancy checkup. All right. So ignore the slide. I found an error. Let me see. Let me go in here to schedule your checkup. And now I'm curious. Schedule your checkup. Um, your first doctor's appointment. I want to double check that I didn't miss anything important, because I'm like, that doesn't seem right. Uh, let's see. Oh, the wonders of doing things live. It does say a prenatal checkup. That's weird. Okay, well, I didn't make an error um, in copying my notes. That just seems like a weird thing to say. But that's fine. But you want to schedule a doctor's appointment, right? So if you know you're pregnant, you want to schedule that appointment because you want the doctor, right, to check you out and make sure everything is moving along fine. All right, and let's get back to our slideshow. All right, then we want to start creating a savings plan. You're like, what already? Listen, one of the things we talked that I'm loving about what's happening here with the fertility family is that we are really looking to be proactive and to be holistic and comprehensive. So just want to start looking at a savings plan. All right, and a savings plan can be a couple of different things. This is the actual document. But around financial planning, you can just be start looking at things, all right? It doesn't mean that you're going to do it all, but this is just a plan, right? So you're thinking about it and you're in preparation for it. It does not mean that so it's in preparation. So if you're not working with a financial planner, which is one of the people who we do have in the family, then that might be something to start looking around for, so they can help you put together a plan. Because like I'm not doing a plan. Okay, we're still in the first 8 weeks. All right, and we want to look at budgeting, because we talked about this in the pre-pregnancy checklist as well. But yeah, you want to make sure you're still saving and putting money aside. And if you have started with, what we started with, you've already made some adjustments, and so you've planned for this. If you haven't even already started implementing it, start now. You've got 9 months. You want to start finding your doula. Your doula, if you haven't, again, we talked about having this done well before you actually conceive. But if you waited or you had a few people you were considering, now is the time to select her because she's going to really help you get through your first trimester. I recommend it. We talked about starting this before, but now that you are actually pregnant, you want to be on it. Okay. And then you want to have your first prenatal checkup within the first 4 to 8, after week 4 to 8. So you're pregnant and you want to make sure you're just going in and you're getting your checkup, making sure everything's good to go. All right. Weeks 8 through 12, you want to start buying maternity clothes. Now you don't need to go all out, but just having a few things on hand, all right? Just to start having a few things on hand. You may notice, that while most folks won't be able to tell, you might be noticing some things going on. Things are a little bit tighter. And so you want to just be prepared for that, all right? You also want to get what they call the first trimester screening. And so this has a couple of different tests. So I wanted to take us there. First trimester screening because it has post-birth conception. There's a lot that goes into this, you guys. Sorry, we resolved that one. In particular, there's the chronic villus sampling, the neutral translucency screening, and the hormonal disorder screening. All right, so these are 3 different types of screenings that they usually have you do in the first trimester. And I was kind of like, what is all that? Well, the chorionic villus sampling, it's a test that you get done early in pregnancy to detect congenital abnormalities in the fetus. A tiny tissue tissue sample is taken from the villi of the chorion, which forms the fetal part of the placenta. This is something that sounds kind of scary, at least it did to me, but particularly for my mature mommy, so someone like me, you want to, get ahead of some things. So you want to just, if there is any kind of at-risk tendencies, you want to get these tests to find out what's going on. Okay, and so that's one of the tests. And then the neutral translucency screening, it looks to detect any kind of cardiovascular abnormalities in your fetus. And it also looks for things like limited lymphatic drainage, and they call it altered extracellular matrix composition. So all of these things are simply tests that we now have available to us due to technology that we can get early on to just find out what's going on, okay? And then the chromosomal disorder screening. I'm sure you've heard about things like Down syndrome. So within weeks 10 to 14, you can begin to check for those things. And so that way you can know what's going on, right? And you're not going to be caught unaware. All right. And so that's what those first trimester screenings are. They happen at different points throughout the first trimester. And again, if you're working with your doctor, they're going to let you know about these things. But in case they didn't, then now you know. And so that's why I wanted to have this checklist. So this way you can make sure that you're getting everything you need, even if for some reason your doctor isn't getting it to you. I don't know why that would happen, but I'm sure it's possible, right? Okay. So we're moving on to weeks 12 through 16, all right? You want to start planning your maternity leave and your postpartum work schedule. So if you do have a job, for someone like me who is self-employed, I'm already like putting some things into place because I may not be able to work and do things the way I would be doing if I wasn't pregnant, excuse me. So yeah, just you want to plan like what that looks like. But if you do have a job, you want to start thinking, what happens then. This says, we're moving into the second trimester, right? So we're moving to the end of the first trimester. No, the second trimester. Yes. So your first 3 months. This is like the second 3 months. So now you probably want to tell your boss, all right? If you do have a boss, you're going back for another doctor's visit. And this is the time you can begin to tell your extended friends and family. So again, the people who are in your village, they have known, the people who you who are close with you, who are going to be holding your hands through this, they already know. But now you might want to make that announcement to the general population. And they generally suggest you do this after the first trimester, because that first trimester can be a little tricky. Sometimes the baby, that spirit may be like, I don't know, may not be time. Who knows what's going on? So you generally wait until after that first trimester to reveal to the world. But your support system, you want to let them know, because if something does go sideways, you want to make sure that you have the support there. And actually, in our next doula presentation, we're going to be talking about what happens in the case of a miscarriage, because that's something that does happen. And sometimes people who are having fertility challenges, that's something that you experience. And even if you've had it in the past, there can be some residual pain and trauma left in the body. And so we're going to talk about what do you do in the case of a miscarriage. And so if you've had that experience, I certainly recommend that you're with us. That's going to be in the June presentations. Our doula couldn't be here today, but she'll be back with us in June, the first week of June. So you want to check out that presentation, because it's going to be very, very enlightening. Yeah. All right, we're moving on to, and we're still in week 16 through, we're in weeks 16 through 20. Okay. And inside of that time period, you want to start planning your nursery. Yeah. Where's baby fabulous, in my case, going to sleep? This is like some of the fun part of it. In my opinion, I'm not someone who just loves to shop, but I do love having a project. And so to me, that's how this occurs. It occurs as a project, picking colors and themes, and really getting into it and having some fun. Think about childcare options. Now, even if you're going to be a stay-at-home mom, you are going to at some point need some relief and some support. And there are some great organizations out there. I actually found one, and your doula, for example. If you don't know, they have something called a post-birth doula, and she can be around specifically like those times when neither you or your honey have been able to sleep, you're just exhausted and you just need some help. This is an example. Okay. Now, if you are someone who is going to have talk about childcare options, and let's get that back up on the screen. There we go. Awesome. And so the point was, if you are someone who is going to have daycare, you're going to go back, you're going to go back to work, you want to start nice and early looking around for where your baby will be once you're not home. And so it's never too early to begin. And as one of our advisors shared, a lot of the times the best places have wait lists. So the earlier you start and get your application in, then it means the higher the likelihood that you'll end up in the facility that you want to be and having the childcare options that you want your baby to have. All right. And then you're going to be back at the doctors. Honestly, like you're going to be at the doctor all the time. But that's because they want to definitely make sure that you're just healthy and that everything's going along well. Particularly if you're going to be a mature mommy, you can expect a lot of doctor's visits, because they just want to, they're going to check on you, check on you, check on you, check on you. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing. And then you're going to also go in for your amniocentesis and the triple screen. That's going to be between weeks 15 to 16. If you're not sure what that is, we'll talk about that real quick. So this is American Pregnancy, the American Pregnancy Association.org. They are promoting pregnancy wellness. It's a great resource. This triple screen test, it says it's known as the multiple marker screening in AFP+. It's a maternal blood screening that looks at three things: the AFP, a protein that's produced by the fetus, the HCG, a hormone produced within the placenta, and estriol, an estrogen produced by both the fetus and the placenta. And so the non-invasive test is done through blood test. But this, and so they look at, again, things that they can figure out. What's the chance of there being some kind of abnormality? And a lot of this is just trying to get ahead of it, okay? It takes about, again, 5 to 10 minutes. There's not really any side effects, okay? It's done within like the 15th to 20th week is what it says here. And a lot of the times, this is what we want to talk about. This is because, again, it's for our mature mommies, okay? If you're over 35, they're going to want to do a lot of screening and testing. Our biggest thing, divas, and I say this to you as a mature mommy, is to simply, let me tell you, preparation. Preparation. So like I'm sitting here drinking tea, I've been detoxing, I'm doing the work now to provide the best quality genetic material for baby fabulous. Now, one of the things that our doctors who are on the team will tell you is that we tend to have more risk of birth defects and challenges with mature parents because our bodies have accumulated a lot more toxins at 35, at 40 than we did at 25 or 20. But again, self-healing machine. So right environment, right nutrients, right mindset. So that's how come when we're preparing to become pregnant, we take at least 90 days. And that's at a minimum. Both of our doctors said at a minimum 90 days. But honestly, depending on your age, you might want to start up to a year out, which is why we did the pregnancy timeline. And so I've been on this journey for a minute, doing detoxing work, doing emotional healing work, like healing some grief and pain and things that I was carrying here in my heart. It's really important that you do the work to prepare for your pregnancy so that when you then have the baby, it's just smooth, right? So that these tests, nothing shows up because there's nothing for there to be there, okay? And so I don't want any people I don't want anyone, oh my God, they're gonna do all these tests. They're just tests. But if you've been doing the work, you'll be fine. You'll be fine, okay? But if you want some more information about this, I can, in the pregnancy checklist, right? I have a link to this page. So that's what's really great about that checklist. I try to put everything in it that you would need, as well as links to additional resources. All right. Also, during this time period, y'all, we can find out the gender. I haven't decided if I want to know the gender or not, but you can find it out. And if you're going to have a gender reveal party, just another opportunity to share and fellowship with your village. You could hear the baby's heartbeat around this time. You might experience the first kick. And your belly might start to show. So you want to have those maternity clothes on hand because you're not going to be able to hide it. All right, moving into weeks 20 to 24. This is when they suggest you start your pediatrician interviews. You know, who are you going to have caring for your little one once they come into the planet? And again, you want to make sure that this is someone you trust. So you want to give yourself plenty of time to interview, to source, ask for referrals from friends and family, whatever that looks like, okay? Researching and signing up for your childbirth classes. Now, what's great about this is one of those things that your doula can really help with, okay? And our doula, she says, yeah, if you have a good doula, part of when you're interviewing that doula, you should be able to ask them, do you have resources to good childbirthing classes? And depending on what you want to do, I'm definitely interested in the hypnobirthing, and they have a diva who's going to come in and talk with us about what it looks like to have a pain-free pregnancy and a pain-free delivery, labor and delivery. Yeah, this is actually her specialty. And so she's going to be coming up in the next few months with the Fertility Family. So got a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe. So if you're not already a member, because right now we're in our launch phase. And so we're just, sharing this information, but we're moving into the next phase. So make sure you get in because you don't want to miss out on any of that. But yeah, so you want to research, sign up for your childbirth classes, and you're going to start, this is the training and developing for yourself. Training and development is key. This is something new unless you've done it already, right? For many of us first-time mommies, you want to make sure you're getting the information that you need so that your pregnancy, again, is happy and healthy. You want to figure out things, logistics around your baby shower. So who's hosting it? Are you doing it for yourself? All that kind of stuff. This is a great time to do that, all right? And then we get into weeks 20 to 24. If you're going to bank cord blood, this is a great time to say, what is that? All right, banking cord blood. Back to one of these awesome resources. cord blood banking. So cord blood is the blood that remains in the umbilical cord and placenta following birth. In the past, they were discarding it in the West. If you go into other cultures, they didn't do this. They have rituals and things that they do. However, well, what we now know is that you can save the blood. And you're like, well, why would I want to save the blood? Well, one of the reasons is that cord blood is an abundant source of stem cells. Stem cells are genetically related to your baby and your family. Yeah, so with all these different things that we've heard about, right? What's good is that if something does happen in the future, maybe to have that blood banked. Okay, and so because you can use stem cells to transform into other types of cells. So if there's anything that may come up, such as leukemia or some inherited health disorders, it's a good idea and it's a good research to have this. Okay, so it's a kind of an insurance that you shouldn't need, but when we talk about insurance, it's just something to know that's there, and so that's something to research. Okay. And then, yep, another doctor visit. All right, weeks 24 to 28. You want to start getting to some of this financial planning. You want to update or write your will, including directions around your child's inheritance and guardianship. You got to start thinking, what if something happens to you? You want to make sure that your baby's going to be taken care of. Purchase life insurance if you don't have it. I have to say this. I was surprised at the number of people who I found out have kids and don't have life insurance. Just a little personal story. I lost my mom when I was 19. And my mom had life insurance. And while technically, yes, I was an adult, that she had life insurance for most of our life. And the blessing around that, you guys, is that when my mom did pass, that money was then invested long term. And it has then been able to provide for me and my sister when she was still here. My sister has since transitioned. But that same money, yeah, has helped fund businesses, purchase property. So it's a gift that can certainly keep on giving. So it's almost like my mom has been taking care of me in many ways, even though she hasn't been here. And even though I would love for her to be here as I go through this journey, it is what it is, but life insurance is really important. I have a policy, and even though I don't have any kids, that's just more so that my estate and my affairs could be taken care of in the event of my untimely demise. But with Baby Fabulous, I'll probably up the coverage, I'll be a mature mommy, and particularly for these mature parents, you want to make sure you have life insurance, because if something does happen, whether it's to, and to your health or whatever, you want to make sure your child's going to be taken care of. And it's one of those responsible things to do. It doesn't always make us feel good to think about it. But when we're choosing to bring a new life into this world, we're taking on a responsibility, and we want to just make sure that we take that on. All right. You have your retirement plans, things like that. So just things to be thinking of: who's going to be the beneficiary in the event of your passing. So updating your retirement accounts and things like that, and then looking again into childcare. Continue to look, right? You want to send out shower invites. So if you're having that baby shower, you want to make sure the invitations get out, or if you're working with a team member to do it, make sure they have the names and addresses. So you want to support whoever's hosting your shower, but making sure they have the names, phone numbers, addresses, email addresses of your friends and family who you want to have invited. You want to go register for shower gifts. Always fun, right? And then, yeah, you're back at the doctor again. We're moving on to weeks 28 to 32. You want to baby-proof the house. Yeah. You can start things like your fetal kick counts. Yay! Prepare your birth plan and have the baby shower. So I love to party, if you guys don't know. And I look forward to my baby showers. I've already have many, many people planning. I have at least 2 to 3 showers planned. People are like, we're having a shower, and we're having a shower. I'm gonna be showered with love. I'm really excited about it. Oh, well, no, there you go. Technology. At this point, other people might be able to feel the baby move. So that's a good thing, right? You want to send those thank you notes for that baby shower you had. You can start about a week afterwards and just work on them. Don't rush yourself. It's just something to do, right? You want to cook and freeze meals for after delivery. You know, once you have the baby, there's going to be a lot of things happening. And so this is a good thing to do in advance. Some things that you could have frozen, that you could just, casseroles, things you can just put in the oven. Soups are good, that it can be easily warmed up, right? You want to start your childbirth class. And you're gonna have 2 doctor visits by this time. So you're heavy into the pregnancy at this point. So you're gonna be going to the doctor a little bit more often. That low maintenance hairstyle, we talked about having a hair plan. One of the things that what about a hair plan is that, particularly for my chocolate sisters, and actually for all my sisters, because a lot of women, we color our hair. Many Black women do relax their hair, but when you're pregnant, you don't want to be using any harsh chemicals on your body. So we talked about the hair plan and that countdown to baby fabulous, things to be thinking about. So a lot of Black women, they might have a weave, they might wear braids. I happen to have locks, so that's a pretty low maintenance hairstyle in general. But right before you're getting ready to go into birth, you want to make sure that whatever you're doing with your hair is going to be real easy. And again, you want to look good too, girl. So find a hairstyle that can survive through labor and delivery. All right. So, because they're always going to take pictures of you. And you want to look crazy in those pictures. I am a diva, y'all. So I definitely want to look fabulous. So you got to plan for these things. Otherwise, who knows what'll be going on. In those post-labor pictures. All right. You want to make sure that if whatever you didn't get in your showers, that you at this time you want to buy any baby items that might still be needed. One of the things that our doula, and she's also a lactation consultant, she wanted us to remind you that if your goal is to breastfeed exclusively, you only need a couple of bottles. You don't want any pacifiers, because you don't want the baby latching onto anything other than the girls. If that is your goal, is to breastfeed exclusively, when you're buying those things, even if some people give you some other bottles, you might want to do some exchanges and things like that. But just keep that in mind as you're getting those last minute things. You want to prepare all baby first aid emergency items. So this is like making sure your home is ready for baby. So just thinking about things that you might need that'll be different than adults might need. So that's a good time to have that done. And print out and fill out all your emergency seats. So just like in case of emergency, making sure that people know who to call, where to go, all those kind of things. Because once the baby gets home, it's going to be going crazy. And these last weeks, contact that local cord blood bank. If you're going to donate, you might want to donate some of it, but just making sure you're in communication with them around it. Finish painting that nursery. Get that car seat inspected. If you got one gifted to you in the shower, or you purchased one, just making sure that it's ready to go, because baby's going to need to get home. And packing that hospital bag. So making sure that you are ready to rock and roll. All right. This is a test. I was like, well, what is it? The Group B strep test. This is about, these are antibodies in your body that sometimes if they're contraindicated, they will recommend a C-section. And what my doulas and my midwife and my doctors want you to know is that there are options, even if this test comes up positive. So you want to make sure you've been working with your midwife, with your doctor, with your doula, and you're aware of all the options you have, particularly if you're committed to a vaginal birth. There are some things that you can do. Okay. You want to find out what screening your hospital usually gives to newborns. And if you want to not have them or have them delayed, you can request that. So this is really important that you know in advance and that your wishes have been made known. You want to speak with your doctor about any additional tests that you might want. There may be some testing that you want to have happen. For example, I carry the sickle cell trait. And that's something that I would definitely want them to test for. Does the baby carry the sickle cell trait? When I'm looking for my sperm donor, that's one of the things I'm interested in, making sure he doesn't carry the trait, because I want to minimize the likelihood that my baby would have sickle cell. And then but I would like to know if my baby does have the trait. So that's like a test I personally might request. And so you kind of have to know your own family's health history. And that's one of the things we talked about in the countdown to pregnancy, being able to find out your family's health history. And so that might give you a key about some other tests that you might want to have run, in the event of the baby. So just, things, but you want to communicate that with your doctor so that they know in advance, right? All right. And then some more doctor visits. That doctor's seen a lot of us, right? All right. So Um, Around this time, for most women who are working, you're going to be at that last day of work, right? And so you'll probably get a nice send off or something, making sure those affairs are handled. This is the last time you can really fly safely, right? Around week, what is that? Week 35. So any travel plans that you had beforehand, you'll be aware of that. I just read a story about a diva who gave birth to her baby in the bathroom, I believe at a hotel, because she obviously did not follow these instructions. I personally wouldn't want to. She gave birth to her baby herself. Yes, in a hotel room overseas. Um, it's possible. We are very powerful. But if you can avoid that, you want to follow your birthing plan. So curtail any travel plans around those last 4 or 5 weeks of pregnancy or whatnot. Okay. Last 10 weeks, I should say, because you go the 40 weeks. But yeah, we let's avoid the giving birth in the hotel if we can. All right. And then there's just some things that you might want to consider in terms of some herbal supplements. These are totally optional, of course, but there are some herbs and things that you can take in the last few weeks of delivery that can help with labor, delivery, and recovery. So it's not, it's an optional thing. I'm just going to share this particular herb. This one is called 5W, 5 weeks out. That's what that 5W is. And it's designed to help tone and strengthen the uterus. It's recommended during the last 5 weeks of pregnancy. I'll let you see what that looks like. Okay. What it includes, in case you're just wondering: black cohosh root, squavine, Don Quay, butcher's broom, and red raspberry leaves. So this is something that, again, it's going to be good. It helps support circulation. So it's good, all right, in terms of, again, both with your delivery as well as your recovery. So these are some, because we, again, happy, healthy pregnancy and birth, we say. We want, even after the pregnancy, after the birth, we want the postpartum experience to be lovely. All right. And if you missed the presentation on postpartum health from Doula, you want to go back and check that one out, because she gives you a lot of good information so that you know what to expect. And part of the thing, some of the things we want you to do around lifestyle is to minimize the chance of things like baby blues or full-on postpartum depression. All right, so we're in the last 4 weeks or so. One of the first things you're gonna probably go see the doctor once a week. They're just gonna want to make sure that things are progressing along well. And then there's something called a non-stress test. This is also known as fetal heart rate monitoring, and it's just checking the baby's health. If you want more information about that, again, that great American Pregnancy Association website has wonderful information about this. Okay, but it's called no stress because there's no stress placed on the baby. All right, they're just going to be measuring the heart rate and things like that. Okay. Why might they do it? If the baby's not moving around, you might be overdue. If you have any high risk, so again, on my mature mommies, this is something you're probably going to have, because they're just going to want to make sure everything's well. Okay. And then there's another test. It's called the biophysical profile. This is a combination of the ultrasound evaluation with the non-stress test. And again, it's looked to perform for fetal health. And if they're just wondering, it's all of this around just making sure that all is well. Okay. That's it, y'all. You ideally, you're then going to go have your baby, right? And so what we were talking about in terms of delivery, we actually have a midwife who's going to be joining us in July. Nana City she is a elder and a veteran of the game. She's been doing this, you guys, 20, 30 years. So I was just so pleased when she was a yes. And so she'll get into delivery. Okay, so look, I don't have a lot of information here because that I know nothing about it. I'm sure we can always, but that's why we're taking our birthing classes. When we have our midwife, she'll be able to tell us a lot. So if you have questions about that, she's coming on July 11th. I believe that's the date. If you're watching this and you need to find it, I do put the dates, so you can always search that way too. But that's not a city. We're gonna talk about. So she'll talk about delivery. And then we get into post-birth and postpartum. And so we had that presentation from our doula already. There are some things in the checklist that we'll talk about. So that's going to be part 3 of the Countdown to Baby Fabulous. That'll be postpartum and post-birth. All right. This a lot of good information. You know, it may not all happen by the numbers, and that's okay. But I like, for me, having a checklist and understanding what I can be doing at different parts of this journey provides me with some peace of mind. Lets me feel like I know, like, what I'm doing and that I'm going to be successful at this, because I'm not going to be like, oh, well, what should I do? You can know. If you haven't downloaded the copy, you can get a copy of this checklist. Okay, like I said, it's my gift to you. All right, so as we come to the end of our presentation, make sure, like I said, you download your copy of the pregnancy timeline. Remember, the Fertility Family is here to help you succeed. We do weekly education, we have coaching, we have group support. And so I invite you to join the family. Visit us at fertilityfam.com and join. It's real simple. Next week, we have the Dr. Hugh A. Jenkins will be here. He's a naturopathic doctor, and he specializes in holistic medicine and natural cures. He deals with the whole person, mind, body, spirit work as well. Wonderful resource, just a treasure and a treat to have him on our team. And so we'll see you next week in the Fertility Family. Thank you so much for joining me. Until the next time, just remember to be well and stay fabulous. Good night.